a podcast about amazing people from an incredible state. Join Mike Broomhead for Amazing Arizonans, presented by Resolution Copper. Copper is essential to Arizona's economy and to America's future. Learn more at resolutioncopper.com.
Amazing Arizonans, obviously, just like it says, great stories, amazing stories of Arizona, and nothing more appropriate than my guest, Amy Van Dyken. It's so good to meet you.
It's good to meet you. I can't believe we haven't met until now.
I was just telling Patricia this. We've run in the same circles for years. We worked not together, but around the same people for years.
Forever. Yeah, this actually, where we're sitting right now, used to be the studio that I worked in when I did music radio back in the day at the Peak. I'm shocked we haven't at least run into each other at the water cooler.
Because this is such a small world.
Yes, it is.
This business is so small.
It's so small and it's wonderful.
Because it's so good that I get to do this as an outsider.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've heard these perspectives before, but you went from being an Olympian.
Yep.
Not just an Olympian, but you were, 5? How many gold medals in one Olympics?
4 in one Olympics.
First female ever to do that.
Yep. It hasn't been broken. It's only been tied. So yeah, it's time to go. It's time. Ladies, 28, LA, let's do it, because I'm going to be there and I want to hug that person.
Let's start there.
Okay, let's start.
What's that grind like?
It was a lot. So let's talk about when I was in school, right? So you'd go and you'd train in the water 2 hours in the morning. Then you'd go to classes. You'd work out an hour in the weight room somewhere in there. And then you'd have another practice in the afternoon. It was a lot. Then when I went to the Olympic Training Center, then it became a job. So then it was 2.5 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the weight room, 2.5 hours again, 6 days a week, 2 weeks off a year. That was it. It was a grind. And I will tell you, I trained that much, and my longest race was under a minute.
That's incredible.
It's nuts. It's stupid.
I was a wrestler in high school. And I think if there's one sport that may be able to understand the full body workout that the sport of swimming is. And I have friends that were swimmers and they were always in the peak shape, but it's impossible to keep up with them. Even in the best shape I was as a wrestler, I couldn't be in the water that long. It's right. It is crazy on your body.
It's nuts. Yeah, it's up. People were talking about when I had my shoulder surgeries and, why do swimmers have bad shoulders? We thought swimming was good for you. Yeah. It is. But the thing is that the way that I did it, you think about every time I put my hand in and I would put my elbow up, that's the same motion that a pitcher is doing for a fastball. And they would do it how many times a game? Maybe fastballs, maybe 20 a game.
Yeah.
And I would do it 26 strokes per 50. And I would swim anywhere from 10 to 18,000 meters a day.
Dieting. What was your diet like?
Yes.
Because I was at an event and I heard Michael Phelps speak and they talked to him about eating.
Yeah.
10,000 calories a day for the miles he was swimming in order to keep his body. Yeah. What was it like?
It was a lot. I mean, for me, it was 4,500 calories to 5,000 I had to eat. So it was half of him. But it was to the point where I would go to a restaurant. Let's pick the Cheesecake Factory because I would do that often. Yeah. I would have to start off with a piece of cheesecake, eat the meal, and then try to do a cheesecake at the end. I'm not a big eater. I still haven't eaten today. It's not, I forget about it. ADHD, I forget to eat sometimes. But it was very constant. I remember the day I retired, someone asked me, what is it you want to do? And I said, I don't want to eat.
Because it's the opposite for everybody else.
Yes, they're like, I want to chow down. And all the things. I just didn't want to eat. Force feeding myself that much was just a lot. So yeah, I just kind of went back to normal eating style. But it's a lot to have to force feed yourself that much. I went on a date with my husband. This is when we had first met. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to play it cool, right? Don't do all the eating things, have a salad and a meal. Don't be a pig. Our server comes over and goes, I know you. You're the girl that had the appetizer, 2 entrees, and a dessert all by yourself.
Isn't that great?
Huh.
Isn't that terrific?
You ruined it for me, man.
That's awesome.
Just have a salad.
Give somebody an Olympic moment for you. Is it standing on the podium? What is the Olympic moment for you?
I have actually 2 that I think about and that I talk about all the time. And it was for my 4th gold medal in Atlanta. And it was just standing there. And I could finally, because I was swimming 5 events, we knew that my emotions were a gas tank that I couldn't refill. So I could blow it all on the first race, but then I had nothing left for the others. So I knew I had to be compartmentalized with each race. I could finally look out in the crowd and I saw these posters, Forever Gold Amy. People were chanting my name. And I was like, Oh my gosh. I remember watching the 88 Olympics, Matt Biondi, Janet Evans, and I was getting ready to babysit. And I said, they're almost my age. I can do that. And it brought that whole moment there. And it was such a cool feeling. And all you can hear is like the cameras clicking. And you're like, how many people are celebrating with me right now for something that I just did, that I worked my whole life for? It was unreal. I cannot listen to the anthem without getting chills. There was another moment that I loved. It was shown on the USA Today. You have to have a clear deck, meaning there's not people milling around. So it was after a race, and Francesca Van Olmsik, who was the big swimmer, and she was kind of passing the baton to me, came over and gave me a huge hug, and I picked her up. She's also 6 feet. I picked her up, and that was on the cover of USA Today. Empty pool deck, her and I hugging. And that says what the Olympics is. Yes, you're there to compete. Yes, you're there to win medals, but it's also about the fraternity that you're now a part of that you will never lose your membership to. And it's such a beautiful thing. I can call up friends from Finland, Australia, stay at their house if I'm visiting. It's amazing.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to mention Michael Phelps talked about the records. And of course, you talk about Mark Spitz because that was my generation, you know, and that passing of the baton, but also realizing that he was the pinnacle.
Yeah.
You're the pinnacle. I mean, you are that. In women's swimming, you're that.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I do have that one record, right? But like you look at Katie Ledecky, she's killing it.
Sure.
You look at like all these other people who are doing it. But again, I do still have that record, which is kind of nice to have in my pocket.
But don't you think that those people would talk about you the way the men talk about Mark Spitz?
I would hope so. I would hope I left a legacy to have that. I really do.
I like the fact that you don't know that as much as I know that, and I don't know anything about swimming. But I mean, I know the world of sports, and you have heroes, and the smart, the good heroes are the ones that admire someone that breaks their record, and they're there to congratulate. When Gretzky was there for Ovechkin, you know, those things are fantastic to witness. For you, I would, you know, because I have nieces that were athletes, and high school athletes, and really good. For them to have women to look up to is so important.
Yes.
And you're that for so many young women. You would be the one that said, someday I want to break that record and I want her to be there.
Yeah. I think that would be important. That to me, I think is one of the most important things is to be there. So that's why, you know, when NBC calls and goes, hey, you want a gig commentating? I'm like, can I be there? Yes, I will do that because I want to be the first person to hug them. I remember when I broke my first American record, and like you were talking about, you look up to these people. And I remember Leanne Federer. Oh my gosh, she could do no wrong in my mind. And I broke her record, and she was coaching for the University of Texas at the time. And she ran past her swimmers. She had swimmers in that heat to give me a hug. And it was so meaningful to me. And that's why when my American records get broken, you know, I try to leave the voicemails if I'm not there to do it in person. But that's the big one. And I really want to give whomever it is a big, huge hug.
Do you still follow the sport as closely as when you were in it?
Yes, I do. Probably closer because I'm now commentating. And I do the preliminaries of the Olympics. And so we have all of those heats to talk about, which is wonderful. We get to hear stories about kids that just learned how to swim 6 months ago. They were swimming in alligator-infested waters, and here they are at the Olympics. It's a big deal. I get to do that. I also do, you know, lots of other commentating. So I'm still in the sport, and I'm on the deck all the time harassing everybody that will listen to me.
See, and I grew up in alligator-infested waters. That will motivate you.
I'm sure it would, right?
That will motivate you to swim.
Is that the one that got Bobby Joe's foot last week?
Exactly right, yes. There was just a story we talked about recently of a guy that escaped an alligator attack in a lake.
No.
And you would have to be moving.
Those things are fast. Like you don't realize it.
And they're fast on land.
Correct. Have you ever seen one run, which I know
course.
Obviously you have? They are crazy.
I grew up in Florida.
Oh, yeah. So you...
Yeah, they are much... So and people think they're very slow.
Yes.
So they mess with them believing that they can't catch them.
Correct. We've seen those golf tournaments where they're there. Yeah.
Yeah, they can move.
Yes, they can. I think we think that they can't because they got those short little legs.
Right. And they're so big.
Yeah. Yes. No, they move so quick.
They move quickly.
It's like my pit bull.
Do you look back on your career in the Olympics, your swimming career? Are there regrets? Are there things you didn't accomplish that you wanted to?
Oh, in terms of accomplishments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to break the long course 50 free world record. It just got so fast to the point where there was no way. I was so broken at the end of my career, physically wise, that I don't think that I could have done it. But that's the one I wanted. Yeah.
What about the other ones? I said accomplishments, but are there any regrets?
Yeah, there's a lot of regrets. I mean, I was 23 and thrust into this world of money, fame, and power, coming from nothing. You know, I had celebrities coming up to my agent saying that they wanted to date me and things. Like, it's very weird. So it can do some things to you.
You can tell us who?
No, I will not.
I had to ask.
Val Kilmer. What?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go out with Val Kilmer?
I didn't know. I should have.
Is that a regret?
It was probably a regret. Yes, I was with my husband at the time. I couldn't do it, man. I would have done it. But yeah, I mean, regrets like in how I reacted to certain things. I do have regrets, but at the same time, it got me to where I am, and you know, has
Were
been
you
doing this.
Arrogant? Was it cocky? What was it?
I think people took it that way.
Okay.
So they always called me the Jekyll and Hyde of swimming. So I'd be in the stands laughing and giggling and all the things, and then I go to the ready room, and don't you dare talk to me or look at me weird, because I will mess with you. Because here's where I was. I was not as physically talented as some of the other people I was swimming with. Some of the other people from other countries ended up testing positive, so you can take that as you will. And I got into this mindset of, you are trying to take my livelihood away from me. How dare you? And so I think people thought that was arrogance. I think it was more of, I was afraid to lose. I really do. I was afraid of what would happen. How would people look at me? People are going to look at me differently if I lose this race. And it became a thing. And it was something that then I had to keep up. And when you're 27 and you're acting that way, then it's not as cute. So I do have regrets in the way that I think I was perceived by some of my competitors. But at the same time, the way that I trained and competed and did all that stuff, I don't regret any of it.
But aren't there a lot of professional athletes, especially, that their key to success is that Jekyll and Hyde?
Yeah.
That who they are off the field or out of the pool is different than the tenacity it takes to compete at that level.
Absolutely. But a lot of people hide it better.
Oh.
You know, because you got to hide it a little bit, you know, because again, public perception is everything. And if people are perceiving you to be a jerk, then that's how you're going to be perceived. So, you know, I mean, you could look at it that way too.
But it's interesting because it transitions into your life now, because I've never heard a person that we know have a negative thing to say about you.
Really?
Never.
Oh.
Everybody talks about how great you are. Well, before we started this, your boss, was Hatch.
He was my old boss, yeah.
So Ryan Hatch, when Hatch found out you were doing this, everybody was so excited for me to get to meet you because they talked about how great you are. So it's weird to hear you say, because I think when you're younger, maybe, did the fame go to your head?
It didn't go to my head. No.
Okay.
No, it didn't. I had people to ground me very much, because it can go to your head.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you've got people that want to carry your luggage and people that want to do this for you. And you're like, wait, what is happening? Like, no. So, you know, it can go to your head. But I think if you have the right people around you, it doesn't. And and it's funny because I don't really even talk about the Olympic stuff unless I'm asked about it.
Right.
You know, like I don't go around to people and go, oh, Amy Van Dyken, 6-time gold medalist. Like, that's just stupid.
But
so I try not to be arrogant, you know?
It's funny that you say that, because I know it's completely two different worlds. But one of the guests on the podcast was the supermodel Kim Alexis. Oh, yeah. I don't know if you know Kim.
I know of.
Okay. And obviously, cover of Sports Illustrated 6 times, world-renowned supermodel, when that supermodel title was what it was. The thing. And she is so humble and doesn't talk about it unless she's asked. And then, much like you, has taken that fame she was given and used it as a platform to help other people. I think that's the sign of immense character.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So when your accident happened, because we run in the same circles, kind of.
Yeah.
It was a different kind of a story because the media talks about those things, but many of them knew you.
Personally.
Yeah. When that accident happened, the appearance was, from where my point of view was, I can't believe someone that was at the pinnacle of a sport had the internal fortitude to handle it the way you handled it. That you seemed so positive from the very beginning. Is that true?
It was. And the reason was I died several times. I mean, my husband got me breathing again.
Wow.
You know, I have this tattoo on my wrist. Let me take off my watch. So it's Phoenix rising from the ashes.
Yep.
Under here, you can see the last time my heart rate went wonky when I was dead. And then it goes into my normal sinus rhythm.
Wow.
Yeah. And so when I have a bad day, I cover it with my watch. I don't need to see it all the time. But when I'm having a bad day, I look at it and I go, you know what? It's been worse. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Wow. What happened? Can you tell the story of what happened?
Yeah. So
do you remember what happened?
I don't. Well, I can tell you about that. Is like I go through it. So, you know, that day I had gone to CrossFit like always and rode my ATV like always. We were up in Sholo, which, if you don't know, is mountain place here in Arizona.
Absolutely
love it.
White Mountains are my favorite place in Arizona.
Gorgeous. I love them so much. So we were in Torreon. So, you know, when the gates close,
Yep.
you park your car and that's it. So we were going to go to dinner. It was a quarter of a mile away. We could have walked, right? Because I was a runner at the time. I would walk there to warm up and then run. So we could have done that. And my husband's like, well, because I wore 5 to 6 inch stilettos all the time. Everyone around here probably tell you all the time. And I was like, oh, babe, you know, we're living in Los Angeles at the time. And I said, I want clean air on my face. Why don't you take your motorcycle? I'll take my ATV. Great. We went to dinner. I had trout and steamed broccoli. So unimportant, but I will remember it forever. I remember standing up, saying goodbye to people and pushing in my chair. And that's where my memory stops. What happened, he says, is we went out, got on my ATV. Normally, he would have gotten on his motorcycle and taken off in front of me. Had that happened that night, I wouldn't be here because he wouldn't have found me.
Wow.
He said something was wrong with his motorcycle, so he was dilly-dinking with it, which I learned is the technical term for dilly-dinking. Dilly-dinking. He goes, babe, go ahead, because we were going to go home and watch Game of Thrones, right? And I was like, awesome, I'll get it started, all the things. Apparently, I got on my ATV. He looked up and he goes, what the hell is she doing? There was not a scream, not a noise, not a movement, not a flicker of a brake light. I hit a curb, went over a 6-foot cliff, hit a tree in the middle, and he ran down. I was face down, and he could see from there that my back was broken. It was pretty bad. So it got me breathing again. Flight for Life comes. First responder ended up being the guy that I had done CrossFit with that day. He owned the CrossFit gym. Flight for Life was there. They told him, she will not know who you are, because they were more worried about my brain injury than my back. So that's basically what happened. And, you know, someone saw it and called 911, thank goodness. We do know that there was a doctor that was there and he couldn't do anything because he had been drinking. And so he couldn't help me. And I know at the time it was frustrating, and you understand it now, you know? And yeah, it was just, I don't remember anything. I remember being in Flight for Life. And I remember seeing the clouds, and I looked at the nurse behind me because that's where they sit, and I started screaming, don't let me die, I'm too young to die. And the next thing I remember, I was in the trauma room, and they're telling me, listen, you are a hair width away from your aorta. So I'm going to try to get you out of here. I'm not sure if I can. And this is Dr. Toomey Allen, who's still at Barrows, thank goodness.
Wow.
And he's like, you need to say goodbye to your husband. And I did. And I was very matter of fact. And I was like, listen, babe, you know, I knew in that moment that what I said could have affected him forever. And I told him, I said, babe, I love you and I want you to be happy. And if that means dating and getting married, then I want you to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You had that presence of mind.
Yeah. Because I knew I'd watched all those Lifetime movies that none of us watch, but yet it's been on forever, right? Yes, it's not going anywhere. And I just remember like watching those things. And it's like, oh, my soulmate, or my wife died, but my soulmate is here, and I don't know if I should marry her. Or would my wife like it? I wanted him to be clear.
But wouldn't it have been much funnier knowing how you were going to make it through all that if you had said the opposite?
If you look at another female,
I will haunt you.
Haunt your booty.
Wouldn't that have been funnier?
It would have been much better. It would have been a way better story.
It would have been a better movie on Lifetime or whatever those
exactly.
Hallmark.
You know what? It would have actually been the truth, because let's be honest.
I'm so glad you have a sense of humor.
You have to.
Okay.
You have to.
So it's difficult. I can't even imagine the difficulty. But the difficulty of doing it publicly. Knowing that you have to release a statement, and then everything you say, and people are going to want to talk to the doctors and nurses that are caring for you. What's that like?
For me, it was okay. The thing that drove me nuts was when they would get these doctors who knew nothing about my case, and these doctors would doctor on TV, and they would be completely wrong. Like, not even close to what's happening. And it would give this wrong public perception. So then I felt like I had to go out and tell the truth, like what was really happening, because I wanted people to know. I knew that I was in a position where my voice could make a difference. It could make a difference either being really positive or being a complete and total dirtbag. And I wanted to be that positive person because I knew that I'm not supposed to be here. There's a reason that I'm here. Let's go ahead and bring that to fruition, right? My entire life was built on my physicality, and it's now been taken away. How is she going to handle this? And I wanted people to know that it's okay on the other side. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. But you know what? At the end of the day, when you do a wheelie down a ramp at Fashion Square and get it on video and have it have over 2 million views, that's fun.
Was it always that way? Was there a time where it wasn't?
Or it wasn't fun to talk
where
about
it wasn't. No, where when this first happened.
Yeah.
Was there a time where it wasn't okay?
Oh, the whole time. I'm going to tell you, because we're now best friends. So I'm going to tell you the ins and the outs. I remember being in ICU, and the nurses and doctors would come in and they would flip me from my left side to my back to my right side every 30 minutes. And I knew that I was getting fluids, and I knew that normal human things were supposed to happen that I didn't think were happening. And that was my first question is, how do I go to the bathroom? You know, those are the things that go through your mind that really humble you. And I think those things get kind of pushed to the side. Everyone's like, oh, you know, all these people want to walk, all they want to walk. And I thought, I have this platform and I want to tell people what this injury really is. It's not all about the walking and the not walking. It's about the other stuff. Yeah. You know, and that was where I decided to take it and let people know about all those things.
Was it a decision you made?
At first, no. At first, my husband, and he's been very public about it, he's like, I had to get her phone in her hands because I knew what people were saying about her on the outside, and she needed to hear that. So he gave me my phone back, had me get on Instagram right away to read what people were saying. But then it was like, well, I want them to know I'm okay. So then I started posting. Like right in ICU, I'm posting on Instagram. Who does that? So yeah, he did that right away because he knew that would help me, and it did.
So now I'm sorry I bounce around so much, but it's where the conversation goes.
I'm ADHD.
Okay,
let's bounce.
Perfect. So then talk about how fantastic your husband is.
Oh, God.
I mean, if he had the wherewithal when you were in ICU to say, you have to see this. Yeah.
That man is amazing. And I remember when we got together, you know, he was playing football for the Broncos, and you know, he's one of the top punters in the league, and everyone said it wouldn't last. And then this happens. Everyone's saying it's not going to last. You know, we're coming up on 24 years. And we're at 24 years, sorry. But what he did was absolutely amazing. You know, he was a part of the CU National Championship team, and they were doing all sorts of, 30 for 30s on it, and he was asked to be a part of it, and he was like, I can't do it. I'm not having you bring cameras here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving her. He didn't leave my side, and he still hasn't left my side, and it's been 11 years. He is that man that before this I could count on. He was like a strong, manly man, and he has shown that he is above and beyond that. The man that I married is the most incredible human being in the world.
The bond for him to not just look out for your physical at the time, especially at the beginning, but the emotional and mental well-being and know what was best for you.
Yeah.
There can't be anything like that in a relationship.
No. And that's why I tell everyone, marry your best friend. That's who you marry. Because at the end of the day, when the looks go, the intimacy kind of starts to wane and all the things, that person is still there for you and they're still your best friend and you can still laugh and do all of it. And when I was in the hospital and he was making me laugh, it was the best medicine. It really was. Because at the end of the day, he's my best friend. And that's who I want to be with. But he's incredible. And what he's put himself through with this has been, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it.
The adjustment for him.
Oof.
Of just the active life that you have. I mean, I'm learning this, but you're so active, CrossFit. It seems like the two of you were outdoors and active in motorcycles and ATVs. Has it been an adjustment for him? How did he adjust? What does he do?
It's been really hard because now it's so different. It can't be like, Aim, you're in a bad mood, go run Pinnacle Peak.
Right.
It's got to be, we've got to do something different and deal with it. So it's been such a drastic change for him. I used to ride on the back of his motorcycle. I can't do that anymore. I don't want to get on an ATV. So that's taken that whole part of our life away. I mean, I got him a Harley for our 10th anniversary.
Wow.
That's how into it we were. And we can do it. We decided not to do it. It's just, it's a lot for him. It's taken a big chunk of his world away.
But you still look like you're in great shape. Do you still do any kind of training? Do you work out at all? What do you do?
I don't work out at all, and I look like this.
No, you do. You look great.
Thank you. No, I work out all the time. I have hashtag, not an ad, but it should be, Apple Fitness. I do it every day. I have a ski erg in my house, so I can take one of their rowing classes and do my ski erg. They've got dance classes. I do that. So I do things now that are fun. I can't do CrossFit anymore because last summer I had 2 pretty significant back surgeries, and I can't jack myself back over my my back like I used to get that leverage. So yeah, I don't do CrossFit anymore, but I do everything else. And I have a mountain bike, so I go out and I ride with a group of friends, and I have a blast. It's different, but I have a lot of fun, and I have found a great community. I always thought to myself, I'm never going to be friends with people in wheelchairs. They're weird. They're amazing. And you want to talk about a sick sense of humor. Holy mother of pearl.
Well, see, that's the other part of it is my family deals with everything with sick humor.
Good.
We were talking about the loss of my brother before we started. Okay. Even at that time, there's inside jokes in my family that we were laughing at. Yeah. That we knew people were looking at us, that if they saw us laughing, fortunately, we think they thought we were crying.
Yeah, because it looks very similar.
But we were laughing.
Yeah.
And but if you don't have a mechanism that allows you an escape, it's kind of like first responders. You think they're being irreverent. They're not. It's a defense mechanism.
Exactly. Well, did you guys always do that before? Like joke around with stuff?
Oh, yeah.
So it's natural for you guys. So that's, of course, what you would do. Yeah.
When you think, I keep bouncing back to this, but that time of transition when you were told how severe the injury was, you were told say goodbye to your husband, and you overcame that, and you found out you were going to make it. When they told you how severe the injuries were physically and what your limitations were going to be, did you right away say, I'm going to be the best I'm going to be in this position? Was there any time of self-pity? What was that like?
I don't know that I've ever had self-pity. I think that I'm just like, this is, when bad things happen, this is stupid, this is ridiculous, I can't, get over yourself, just suck it up, buttercup. I say the same things to myself that anybody else would. I know where you're going with that. And yes, you do have those moments of, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to X, Y, and Z again. But then you learn you can do it. It's just going to look different. I think I was so happy to be alive because what a lot of people don't understand is my surgery was, and I broke so many bones in my body that they could have actually fused me from top to bottom, but they only did the emergency one because they didn't know I was going to make it. And pardon me, for 3 days after that, they had to monitor me and keep my blood pressure really high because you can go into spinal shock and die. And even in those moments, people were coming to my room and we were cutting up and laughing. You have to, but yeah, I mean, it's serious. I never felt pity. I never said, why me? I've never felt that because I have a strong belief in that my entire life has already been pre-planned. Yes, I can change things, right? But I knew that I was here for a reason. Let's get it together and make a positive out of a negative. And
Where does that come from?
I have a strong belief in God. I really do. And I had a belief that he would take care of me. And I knew that, to further myself and to better myself, I had to be the best wheelchair person out there. So guess what? I am the wheelie queen. I can do wheelies down a hallway, up a ramp, down a ramp, all of it. Be the best at something, And I felt for me, always having a goal was very good for me, to strive for that. Like to be able to try to crawl, to be able to get myself into a big, huge lifted Tahoe without any help, that was the thing.
Faith plays such a role, I think, for people. When you get it, you get it, because I agree with you. A pastor I'm friends with lost his wife, and his father had lost his wife, and his father also is a pastor. And he told me in a private conversation, you always say, we know God has a plan, even when you don't like the plan. And then when something like that happens to your son and you can relate to it, it doesn't make it easier. But now you've got words that nobody else has because you've been through it.
Yeah.
You have words that nobody else has because you've been through it. And it's amazing that when you recognize that.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I see where I see what you're saying.
Your ability to you can go into the room of a person that's in the first days of this journey
and talk to them about it. Mm-hmm.
And say to them, I was a world-class athlete.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, you can still enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Now, I can walk into a room and say that.
Yeah.
Not that the world-class athlete part.
You were a wrestler in high school.
But I was a high school wrestler. But I can walk into a room and say that to someone and try to be an encouragement.
Yes.
Nothing like what you can do going into that room.
True. And we all have those things, right? We were talking about earlier with your brother.
Correct.
We all have these things that happen in our life, and it brings you to a fork in the road. And you can go this way or this way. And you have to make that decision as to what you're going to do. And I really do think that that is the plan, that you are here to tell your brother's story.
Yes.
I am here to tell other people's story through mine, and to get more understanding of things and to not have people afraid. The big one for me is when kids stare at me, because a lot of times I have lights on my chair. They'll stare and I can see mom grabbing them. And I go, oh, no, wait, I got lights on, and watch me do a wheelie and watch the things. Then it becomes that conversation that I can have, and it disarms everybody.
And it breaks the barriers down, doesn't it?
It does, yes. And I do feel that people have that in their life. And, if you can just hear it and know that that's the direction to go, hey, man, it's awesome.
And there are so many things in life like that where there are either predisposed ideas that you can break down. Homelessness is one of those. Yeah. When you meet somebody and you have a conversation with people and you hear a story and you realize that's somebody's child or brother or sister, and then the walls come down and you think, but by the grace of God, that could be me.
Correct.
But it also then you see them on a human level and not a situational level.
Thank you. Thank you. Because at the end of the day, we're all human beings and we're all trying to do our best. There is not anybody out there that is, I don't think, I believe people are inherently good.
Yeah.
There's nobody out there that's just like, you know what I'm going to do with my life? I'm going to be an ass.
Right.
Nobody. And these people that are homeless, I live in Denver in the summer, and I live in downtown Denver, a lot of homeless. And you could be afraid. But those kids that look at me were afraid of the wheelchair until we talked. It got to the point where last year there was a gentleman, and he was so sweet. He didn't have a watch, but he'd say, baby, where are you going? And hey, I'm going to go have happy hour. When are you going to be back? I'm like, well, I'll be back around 2. All right, baby, I'm watching you. Mike, I could come back 5 minutes later, and he would be like, oh, baby, that man upstairs, he's going to be mad. You're late. He was watching for me. And we became dear friends, and that community out there, they were talking about moving the homeless population and all and I thought, these are my neighbors.
Right.
And this is where they are. So back it up. So you're right. If you have a conversation, it changes your entire world.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes, and I don't know how you feel, people are afraid to have those communications anymore because they're afraid that someone's going to not believe what they believe and then think that they're going to.
Right.
Why can't we just learn from people, man?
Correct.
You know?
Yeah, I had a cousin that I grew up with that was my hero. I'm the oldest of 3 brothers. He was a year older than me, so he was kind of like that older brother. And through a horrible circumstances, he ended up going off the rails and ended up homeless. Yeah. So I would see him. He lived in Vegas where his sister lived. But when I would go and see him, he looked like every homeless person you've ever seen. But all I saw was Kenny.
Him, yeah.
And so those walls were never really there for me until we were in public together. And it looked so odd that here I was walking down the Vegas Strip, buddies with, you know what, does that make sense?
It absolutely does.
But anybody that had a conversation with him, in 5 minutes, you forgot all about his situation and you saw him. And you're right. When you get to know somebody, their situation goes away. And then you figure out what you can learn from them.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have people tell you how sorry they are for you.
Oh, gosh. And I just want to throat punch
I was going to say, what do you do?
I just want to throat punch them. Yeah.
But you understand.
I get it.
Walking up to a situation, somebody would feel like, I wish I could help her.
Yes.
And then 10 minutes later, they're realizing you're helping them.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe. I would hope so. I would hope so. Oh,
those kids at the mall.
Yeah, you're right. They would come away and not be afraid of a wheelchair.
Right.
Yeah. Well, like one of my sweet little nieces, I have several of them that don't know me out of a wheelchair. And they live in Manhattan Beach, California. A lot of surfing accidents. So one of the little ones, she's 3 years old, ran over to a quadriplegic. Oh my gosh, my aunt has a bike like yours. And my sister's like, sorry, my sister's a paraplegic. but that's cool, man.
Right,
you
when
know?
you grow up around that.
Exactly. You grow up around something different. Like you get to know people. And I think you have more of an empathy maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe? Do you think so? Or do you?
I would say you grow up without feeling sorry for them. You realize they are capable. Which is the whole debate about, do you say disabled? Because nobody wants to be insulting.
Sure.
But then it almost makes it seem like everybody's acknowledging that you're so different.
Yeah.
And then they talk to you. Like 2 minutes into our first conversation, I felt like I had known you forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's who you are. The chair has nothing to do with who you are.
Yeah.
And you're so able to make someone feel that immediately. Do you realize? Is that something you do consciously?
No, I just treat people like people. You know, like I don't look at, okay, you were talking about Phelps earlier, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I've known him since he's 15, so I see him as a 15-year-old kid, but let's just say that I don't, right?
He still acts like a 15-year-old kid a lot of
times.
times.
Still a 15-year-old, and I love him so
hilarious.
much. He's just such a good man.
Hilarious.
What he's turned into is just, I'm so proud of that man. But you look, okay, so if you don't know him, you go and you go, oh, Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
I can't talk to him. But little do you know that he wants to talk to you, you know? And so everyone
Well,
is a
then we
human.
need him on this podcast.
Okay.
Do you know someone who could get him here?
I do. I might have a cell phone. I might have one. We'll discuss, Mike. But yeah, I think it's just, if you treat everyone as a human being and not as a great swimmer or, an amazing broadcaster or whatever, just treat them as an equal, I think the world would be a much cooler place.
But when you hear the story, when you read the story, Amy Van Dyken has been severely injured in an ATV accident. Mm-hmm. Then you find out that she's a paraplegic. Mm-hmm. The first thing you think is, oh my gosh, how sad.
Yes. But then, hopefully, you see the Instagram or you see me in person and you realize that I'm still the same person. I just get around a little differently.
But there's people that, I will tell you, the strength that it takes to be the same person. I don't know if I'd be the same person.
See, you know what though, Mike? You say that. And I think I would have said that before my injury. I think I would have said, oh, it'll take me out. I'm going to end it all when it happens.
Or change me, give me some bitterness.
Right? Sure, but I think we all have that edge to us, And I know when I was first injured, I had that edge a little bit more. It kind of softens through age and all the things. But I know what you're saying, and I do appreciate people when they come up and, oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you. I appreciate it. The one that I hate is when I'm grocery shopping. Oh, you're such an inspiration. I bought a frozen pizza. Like, how is that inspirational? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
If I'm doing something amazing, like when I was skydiving with SEAL Team 6, broke my femur. Long story. Let's talk about that. Right?
Yeah, let's talk about that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did skydiving with SEAL Team 6 because we were doing a podcast, 6 gold medals, SEAL Team 6. They're like, what's the one thing you were afraid of before your injury that you're not afraid of now? I said, my biggest fear was falling from heights. They're like, we're going skydiving. Perfect. We did?
We had that in common because I don't like heights.
You don't? Have you been skydiving?
Heck no.
I'm telling you.
I like to fly.
Okay.
But I'm not jumping out of an airplane.
Okay, but why? You're afraid.
Yes.
Okay, but think about... Okay.
Because I'm rational.
No, you're like my husband. Why would I jump out of a perfectly good airplane?
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't a great airplane. Let's be honest.
Okay.
You want to jump
All right.
to. Like
Okay.
the smell of the... No, it was not good.
Well, you broke your femur.
I did. It was amazing. Okay, stories. So we're in the air... Mike, I got...
You're not selling me on jumping out of an airplane with the I broke my femur story.
I would do it again. Everything
Okay.
that could have gone wrong did, so it's not going to go wrong for you.
Well, not everything.
Well, we got close.
Okay.
Okay, so we're getting up there, and my guy starts doing this. And another guy goes, what are you doing? He goes, my altimeter's not working. I should have known. But I'm not a smart woman. It takes me a while to catch on sometimes. I'm kidding. So we're up there, and they go, no, you're fine. It's an easy jump. We'll flank you. We got this. Great. So we're up there. We jump. Woohoo! Doing the thing. And I remember hearing like people who have done it before, it'll get quiet. And it's just like this peacefulness. Well, I never got the quiet. And we're humming. And I'm starting to see people about that big, and then all of a sudden they're that big, and then they're this big. And I'm like, at some point it's got to get silent, right? And then all of a sudden I hear, don't move, from the guy behind me. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like this, and I feel the, because we had been tangled, and he untangled us. So then the two guys drop, they scream something. Next thing I see is two puffs of dirt. I'm like, oh, we're coming down. So I have my knees up here because, we had to do it right. And we land and we are skidding, and I hear lean back, and I'm leaning back. We are skidding across the ground. My left leg hits a rock. We twist. He grabs me, throws himself underneath me, but it was too late. So then what happens is it was out of a movie. Ladies, hang with me. These SEAL Team boys running at me, parachutes dragging. They're undoing the things as they're running to me, and then they get down. Right ankle check, left ankle check, right knee check, left knee, F word, get in the truck. And I'm like, oh, it's for me. And then these boys pick me up and put me in this flatbed truck and then sit with me. I mean, they're doing a mission. So we just thought I dislocated my kneecap. Well, then I go to get in the car, and this leg gets in first, and I go, ooh, babe, I think I tore my ACL because it went. Get to the pool. We're all celebrating. Margaritas are flowing like water, but I didn't want a margarita. Now, if Amy doesn't want a margarita or a glass of wine, the world has gone off its axis. I said, no, I don't want one. And my husband goes, are you all right? He goes, you don't look good. Why don't you go back, put your leg up? Great. So I did, went to sleep next morning, 7, 8. Now, mind you, my leg is swelling. So I know something's wrong, but I don't know what it is because I can't feel it. So wake up the next morning, have coffee with my husband, who has now seen me almost die twice. And I take a sip of my coffee, I put it down, and I just start doing this, like, swerving. He goes, we're going to the ER. Get to the ER. Doctor comes in, tears. I had a twist fracture at the high end of my femur, but then the ball, because we hit the ground, exploded into 8 pieces, and I was bleeding out. So emergency surgery. I've got 32 screws in my knee alone. The doctor was so excited. I use those carpenter screws that they go in, but they don't come out. It was amazing. It was a work of art. And I've got 2 rods, and I had 2.5 units of blood in my leg.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's the second time that I've needed a blood transfusion. So then I go on my soapbox, and I say, if you haven't donated blood, maybe think about it. And now I'm done.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I'll tell you what. I'll do it again. Skydiving was amazing. I will do it again. I'm going to land in water, but I would do it again. You would love it, Mike.
No, I wouldn't.
No, you would.
No.
I'll do it with you.
No.
I mean, I'm not tandeming with you. That would be dangerous.
No.
But I think we should do it.
Listen, no offense. I'm not tandeming with you.
You're like, listen, girl.
You seem to be the bad luck here.
You are a cat, and you are running out of your lives, Amy.
What does your husband say?
He thinks I'm an idiot.
Okay.
Yeah, so literally we were in the hospital, and he looks at me and he goes, are you done yet? And my answer was, absolutely, babe. I am so done.
Oh my gosh.
I'm an adrenaline junkie. I love it.
I am too, to a certain point.
Okay.
It's just weird. I moved to Arizona because I had this weird dream that I wanted to be a bull rider.
Stop.
Yeah. So I did. I was terrible at it. I was horrible at it. But
Okay.
I learned the rodeo business from a world champion bull rider from Arizona. I learned about the sport, and I got on bulls, broke a bunch of bones, not nearly as severely as you, but
What made you want to ride bulls?
I grew up as a redneck in Florida, and we used to go to rodeos, and it looked like the hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to try it. And I was so bad at it. I was terrible.
Well, you could have gotten better though, right? If you kept practicing, or no? Was it one of those things that you were so broken you didn't want to do it?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't want to complain about my injuries to you, but in the span of 1 year, I broke my ankle bone off twice, broke my fibula twice, broke my shoulder, and broke my foot in 12 months.
Dude.
But I understand your mindset of the adrenaline.
Yeah.
I get that.
That's an adrenaline rush, getting on
It
a
is.
big animal
Yeah.
and knowing it's going to toss you around.
Yeah. And chase you.
Can I also tell you something really
Sure.
quickly? That's another thing.
Okay.
When people go, I don't want to complain about my stuff to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Your stuff is as important to you
Sure.
as my stuff is. So whenever people say, and they say it to me all the time, don't diminish your stuff just
Hang on.
because I'm here.
Let me explain
Okay.
what an idiot I am. So I was at an event. I do a lot of veteran work.
Thank
So
you.
I got invited to a lunch.
Yeah.
And at the lunch was Gary Sinise.
Love him and what he's doing.
I do too. And so I don't know him, but I got to sit at the table with him. And he was sitting across from me, and sitting next to me was a guy that is, he may have retired, but he was with DPS.
Okay.
And he had both of his legs at different times amputated at the knee. He was one of only, I think if not the first or the only, one of the very few double amputees that still served full-time in law enforcement.
Wow.
So we were at this lunch talking,
Yeah.
and first of all, I couldn't get it out of my head that I was sitting with a guy that played a double amputee
Lieutenant Dan!
next to a guy that was. But then we were talking about stuff, and he was running Ironmans and doing things. And I was then telling him I can't run because of my ankle being screwed together.
Yeah.
And I've got pins and screws.
Yeah.
And then I said to him, because we were friends, I'm complaining to you about my leg injury. Do you realize what a moron I am right now? That I'm telling a double amputee about my ankle injury.
Right.
So
Yeah, I see
that's what I'm saying.
I see where you're going with
Okay.
it. Right. But at the same time, right? Like he's dealing with stuff too. You guys can commiserate.
Well, see,
It's
that's
lovely.
the worst part about it. Because then he said, but my pain's gone. So now he's trying to be nice to me. And I thought, no, don't try to be nice. Don't try to make it better for me. What I just did was as dumb as it gets.
I love it.
Let me be dumb.
I love how he validated you though.
Right.
Like, that's so
right.
cool. Like,
Exactly.
What a cool cat.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
very smart guy.
That's awesome.
So anyway, I'd rather talk about you.
I should interview you, man. This
Yeah.
is so awesome.
But if you think about that time with this adrenaline rush that you still have.
yeah.
So what's on the list to do? Do you have a list? Do you have things you want to still do?
You know, it's slowed a lot since me telling my husband I'm slowing down. Right?
Yeah.
I still fly on my mountain bike like a mother trucker.
Good for you.
It's amazing. That thing is 100 gajillion pounds and it's rolled on me a few times. Dislocated fingers. I love it. So I would love to get into more races, but I really what my goal is right now is to just be an advocate for people who are in my position or people who are quads. One of my dearest friends is a quadriplegic. We're running around on Instagram doing what's the difference between a para and a quad, and she's eating a big bag of popcorn in one of them and dumping it down, and she hands it to me, and I look over, I reach in, and I grab it.
That is so good.
It's so bad. But so that's what I want to do now. So now my adrenaline rush comes from doing fun things like that, and like having people call me and say, hey, my niece or my nephew or my daughter or my whatever got injured or I got injured. What do I do? And so that's the rush that I'm getting now.
Broadcasting.
Yes.
How much did you love it, or do you love it? Radio.
Yeah.
Why do you love it?
Oh, gosh.
What was, because I Never thought I'd do this for a living.
Right.
And it's addicting.
Yes.
I love it.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes.
Well, you get to do fun things, I think, like this. Like, I've gotten to know you a little bit better. Hopefully, you've gotten to know me a little bit better. This is what I love about radio. I love that every day is different. I loved when I was in LA working Fox Sports Radio with Rob Dibble. We were on Sirius XM, so we would get calls from everywhere. And every night, we would have one caller at the very end of the night, Nurse Nancy from Michigan. She was a prison nurse. And we're like, Nurse Nancy, what are you doing? I'm smoking on my skulls and I'm telling the boys to shut up. Like, it was just amazing, right? So those are the things that I just love about radio. You connect with people on like a different level. Think about when I did morning radio in this room and people are getting ready listening to you.
Right.
So it's a very intimate thing, and it's a rush every day.
It is.
What do you love about it?
Well, I had to get over, I started because of the loss of my brother, I was the family spokesman. So it started off on very serious topics, but I was always in front of crowds. So you can see when you're funny, when you're not, you connect emotionally. If I'm tearing up and you're tearing up with me, that connection is always terrific. Radio is so weird because you go into a room, soundproof room, put on headphones, and talk to yourself.
Yeah.
I tell people it's like getting caught singing in your car. Isn't that what it's like?
It totally is.
So that was hard for me to get past.
Okay.
But I remember I was such a radio freak as a kid.
Yeah.
I still remember the DJs in my hometown. There was a guy at night. I've tried to find him. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but there was a guy named John Lentry. That was his radio name.
Okay.
At an AM station called WMYR in Fort Myers, Florida. And I would listen to that show at night, and they would ask trivia questions throughout the night. And if you called and answered, they would mail you a bumper sticker.
Oh, stop.
And I had stacks of bumper stickers. And that guy would recognize my voice when I would call.
Yeah.
Never met him face to face, but I've looked for him since I got into radio. I can't find him. But you know what I mean? That there's a connection as a listener.
Yes.
So when you get to be on the other side of it, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I connect with anyone like they connected with me.
Oh, I bet
But that's the dream. You know what I mean? We have a comment. I'm saying something, and you're either yelling at me because you hate what I just said and disagree with me.
Yep.
Or you're pumping your fist saying, finally somebody's saying it.
Yes.
And you get to do that for a living.
Yeah. You get to invoke that emotion
in
someone that you don't even see or know. It is the coolest thing ever. I love it. It's the best. I also love how I used to like deepen my voice.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I used to diaphragm. Yeah. I mean, because they've done studies that say that women's voices annoy everyone, including women. So most women that you had in broadcasting in the day had very deep voices. So yeah, I would deepen it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to play the game.
But you got a great voice.
Thank you. It can sometimes get a little high, so I lower it down.
I talk too fast.
Oh, also
I had to slow myself down because when I get going, I sound like Joe Pesci.
I would enjoy to hear.
And when they compress commercials, this is so boring to everybody else. When they compress commercials,
yes.
When they would compress my commercials, it sounded like Joe Pesci doing the ad.
I love that.
So I had to force myself, as fast as I talk now, I have to slow myself. This is slowed down.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Because you only have but also in radio, you only had a small amount of time before you go into, commercial break. And so you've got to get it all in. I'm with you.
So when you were playing music.
Yeah.
I need to hear either a song or a band you couldn't stand, but you had to play it.
Oh. What was that stupid song by Pink? Na, 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 na.
Okay.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yep, I do.
Oh, and it was so popular. I mean, the people meters that we had, that blew up. And I remember I would look at my partner and go, you need to turn that off in the studio or I'm going to lose my mind. Hated that song.
Well, it's funny because the old adage in music radio, which I'd never been in, is that when the listener is just starting to learn the words, the DJ is sick of hearing it.
Yes.
Because you are listening to it 4 times an hour.
Yes.
And they're hearing it once a day.
Exactly. People don't realize the tight rotation.
Yeah.
Like if you ever get in the car and you hear a song and then you get in again and hear the song, that's how it is. It's like people are like, you only play 4 songs. Yes, we only play 4 songs because you need to get to know it and then you need to sing along with us so you don't turn your radio off.
And if you don't play it, then other people get angry.
Correct. Oh,
Right.
yeah, you're never making anybody happy.
I know.
It's great.
I know.
It's like dinner table talk at my family. Like,
Yeah.
nobody was ever happy. No.
But that's the best conversations.
They're the best.
When you speak to people now, I know you're asked to speak in public quite a bit. When you're asked to speak to groups, what's the message?
My message that I have throughout my life and throughout the speech is, who are you to tell me what I can and can't do?
Oh, wow.
Because people will always judge you and always tell you what you should be doing. And what I say is, jealousy is a nasty lady. It really is. And a lot of times those people that are telling you, no, you shouldn't do it, they see something in you that you can do it and you can do it better than anybody else. That's why they're telling you not to do it. Yeah. And it goes all the way through my life, my career, severe asthmatic, couldn't do any sports, took 6 years to finish the length of the pool, ended up getting to the Olympics. At my very first Olympics, I collapsed my first race with leg cramps, always had cramps in my legs for some reason. The head coach told me it wasn't my time, probably head home, shouldn't be swimming here anymore. And I went on to make history.
Wow.
So don't tell me what I can and can't do. And I even go so far as in my speech, when my husband does tell me because I go through that, when he's like, hey, if this is too much, I always tell people that I whisper in his ear and I say, hey, babe, who are you to tell me what I can and can't do? And then I made it out. But that's what it is. Who are you? Who are you? You don't know me. Who are you?
Wow.
Even your best friend doesn't know you like you know yourself.
But pulling that out of yourself, that's been the hardest thing for me, is seeing it in myself. It's always been helpful when there have been people in my life that helped me bring it out of myself.
Right. Right. That's what we need, though. Everyone needs help with things.
But someone to say, yes, you can.
Oh, I always told myself that.
See?
I'm a stubborn woman. I am a nasty lady sometimes and very stubborn. And if you tell me not to do it, I will say that there was a reason that you were telling me not to do it, and I'm going to go do it. I'm going to do it better than ever. I don't know what that is in my brain. My siblings don't have it, although they're very successful and have done amazing things. It's just weird. Some people are wired with it, and you can't teach it. I don't know that it's healthy. I live with adrenal fatigue constantly.
But don't you think that drive? I mean, that's the key, isn't it? To being a world-class anything.
Yeah.
You have to have talent.
Correct.
But you have to have the work ethic. How many professional athletes have failed when they got to the professional level because they didn't have the work ethic or the drive to even be better than their physical attributes say they are?
Correct. I mean, you could look at Ryan Leaf, a first-round draft pick, failed. I'm going to go so far, and I love this guy as a human being, but Tebow.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow, best player in college ever, and it did not translate. I still say to this day, should have been a tight end. He's a huge man, and he's quick, and he could have done it.
See, here, I'm different. I say he should have been a Miami Hurricane.
As opposed to a Gator, yeah.
As opposed to a Gator.
That's right. That's hilarious.
When his final game,
yeah,
when it ended, I tweeted out, now I can hate the Gators again.
Yeah, because you couldn't. How do you hate Timmy Tebow?
You cannot.
No.
And trust me, I tried.
We all did.
I tried.
Yeah. Well, you're a Kane fan.
Yeah.
My brother teaches there.
Does he?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. He's a professor. Stop.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful tattoo.
That's my family.
I love that.
My brother, the field cross, the
Yeah.
one that passed away. My other brother, my surviving brother's a sheriff's deputy. My mother's name is Rose.
And then the U of M.
Because all of us are U fans.
That's awesome.
Tell your brother.
I will.
You have an Arizona U fan.
He'll be stoked.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So when I have so many questions that I know we got to end this.
I know we keep chatting. I apologize.
No. I love this. I love it. I just don't want to keep you forever.
Oh God, no. I don't have anything to do.
I'm going to get the right way to frame this question.
Okay.
When you look at whether it was growing up or your life, who are your heroes? Who did you admire?
Oh gosh. I mean,
It doesn't have to be athletes. I mean, just in your life.
yeah. I mean, I think I had so many people. I had like teachers that I looked up to that I just thought were amazing. My PE teacher, Mr. Trelfa, still in contact with him. He really helped me deal with my asthma and let people know what I was dealing with. It was really cool. I looked up to him. And then, of course, Matt Biondi, Janet Evans, and then I got to be teammates with them, and I was just still gaga. Even when Janet calls me now, I'm like, no, Janet's calling. So yeah, it's I had those people, and they were just amazing. And then when you get to know them and you find out that they're actually cool people,
yeah,
it's even better.
Were you a good student?
No, I am. I have a high IQ. I am very dyslexic. I don't have phonics. So when I was in 11th grade, my vocabulary was, high, whatever. I was reading at a 3rd grade comprehension level, and no one caught it.
How did they not catch it?
Because I faked it really well.
Oh, okay.
I faked it very well. Yeah. Everyone thought I was smart to the point where reunions, we get told stories, right? So one of my guy friends, I was talking to him, he goes, "You screwed me over in biology." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, I thought you were smart, so I cheated off your test."
That's so good.
I got called in, and the teacher was like, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" "Yeah, why?" "Well, you're like a BC student, and you failed that test." He's like, "Van Dyken!"
That's hilarious.
I didn't study. Again, I'm so ADHD that it wasn't diagnosed at the time because we're working with the dyslexia.
Sure.
I've got all these things. We all have all the things, but I just never could concentrate long enough to read because then I get frustrated because I wouldn't know a word and then I'd forget what I read. When I got through that, I ended up being a better student in college.
Where'd you go to college?
I started off at the University of Arizona, Bear Down, and then I finished up at Colorado State.
Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't want to swim anymore. I had left the University of Arizona because, I had found out at 19 I would never have children. It was really tough to deal with, and they didn't have my major, and I'm like, I'm done. So I left, went to Colorado State, and I was at one of the pre-admission things, walking around, and the head coach goes, "Amy, I didn't think you were swimming for me." I'm like, "'Cause I'm not. I'm just here to go to school." He's like, "How about this? You swim for me for a semester, and if you like it, you keep swimming, but if you don't like it, you quit, and I'll pay for your year of school." Again, I'm not smart, but I figured out that mathematics worked out well. I go, "Great. I'll swim for you." Like one of the first months we swam, I broke my first American record. I was like, this is kind of fun. And so if I wouldn't have run into him, I wouldn't have swam at all.
Wow.
So that's how the Colorado State thing went in there. Everyone was like, swimming, Colorado State.
And you became a better student in college.
I did. Yeah, because it was something that was interesting to me. I could actually, not study the things that bored me to death, and I could focus on what I liked. And when I like it, I actually have some interest.
I actually said to my math teacher in high school, "When am I ever going to use algebra again?"
And what was the answer?
Well, the answer was when I turned 18, I became an electrician.
Okay.
And everything we do is algebra and geometry.
Oh, yes.
And I said, I am never going to use this again.
And you used it every day. So wait a minute.
Every day.
Electrician to doing this.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
My brother. Speaking about my brother, I got asked to speak at at first I did a press. It was early in the war, so the invasion into Iraq started in March of 2003.
Yep.
My brother was killed in May on Memorial Day of 2003. So it was the significance of the day, early in the war. And so when we did a press conference in this small town on the Gulf in Florida, I think MSNBC broke into programming and carried the press conference.
Wow.
So then when I came home to Arizona, I was asked to speak at events, and it spun into being interviewed. And it went from that to someone saying, "You're pretty good at this." I did a weekend show, and then it went from there to being full-time. And I ended up closing down that started in 2005, and in 2009 I got hired full-time, and in 2010 I closed my business, and this was it.
Wow. Do you miss being an electrician?
I miss the work.
Yeah.
I don't miss the business.
Okay.
Chasing money sucks.
Sure, yeah, but love
I miss the work.
trade.
Well, yeah, I still drive around town and say, I worked on that, and I built that, and I put those parking lot lights in. There's still something about that everyday accomplishment where you can see what you've done. Like what we do, I love what I do.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm pointing out, I built that, I created that,
Right.
There is an accomplishment in, what you've built for the day.
Of course.
I still have my tools in my truck, but they're rusted shut, and I'm so happy
really
that I never have to pick them up again.
That's awesome.
At least I hope so.
I was going to say the fan in my bathroom is out if you want to head over my house.
And you know what's funny is I help people out. I hire somebody at my house.
How is that? When you have an electrician in your house and they're like doing a shoddy job, do you go over and go,
Well, no, because I remember I didn't like somebody watching me.
Okay.
But I do know what to look for when they're done.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't want, because that used to bug me. I worked with people that couldn't.
Yeah. Those, micromanager people.
Correct.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're done. I have so many questions I could ask you, but it's a pleasure.
It was so much fun.
Everybody in this building that knows you told me what a great time I was going to have with you, and it's been so much fun.
Oh, I'm glad. I had such a blast. Thank you for having me. Thank you to Kirk Nurmi for getting us together.
Oh my gosh.
Love him.
You know how bad I want to end this with telling you how much of an inspiration you are just to watch you get angry at me. So thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thanks
I
for
really
having me.
appreciate it.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Amazing Arizonans podcast. This is exactly why we do them. Great stories from right here in the Grand Canyon State. And I think you'll all agree after watching this, none better than this story right here. Watch the episodes. We love what you think. Let us know how you feel about them. And thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching Amazing Arizonans, presented by Resolution Copper. Tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.